All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. This is our second episode of the Journey with Miss Beauty. And today we have got a speaker who is all the way from Dubai, and she goes by the name Fadzai. She goes by the name Fadzai. So today, Fadzai is going to tell us about her journey of life. She really has got quite an interesting journey. Like, she has been having an interesting journey, guys. I'm sure you're going to love it. You're going to like it. So guys, before we take too much time, Fadzai is going to excuse me, guys, can you please mute yourselves? Background noise somewhere.
Raise hand if you want to say something. If you want to chat.
Yes, and another thing, guys, if you want, on this show, you are free to communicate with anybody. We are actually having a conversation. So if you want to ask any question about anything that the speaker will be talking about, please feel free to ask anything. Just raise up your hand and then I will give you the floor to talk about anything that you want to ask any question. So please feel free. We are actually having a conversation while we are listening to Miss Fadzai's journey of life. All right, so Miss Fadzai, please, you can go ahead. We can't wait anymore.
Thank you so much, Miss Beauty. Hello, everyone. My name is Fadzai Wekwatendai. Fadzai Tendai is my name, and I am 38 years old, a single mother of two, who had her first child when she was only 18. A baby once had a baby at some point. So this is my story. I was born in a family of so many children. We are 14 in total. On my mother's side, I am the fifth, being the first and wedded wife to my father. And also being the third girl child. I'll just summarize about my family background before I tell my own story. I prefer not to disclose about my family because probably they are not okay with it. But I'll tell you my story because this is about Fadzai Tendai today. So I grew up, I was born on the 3rd of January, that is in 1984, in Harare. And that time, my parents had recently moved to Zimbabwe. They once stayed in Botswana before I was born. So growing up, my life was okay. I wouldn't say we were rich or we were poor, but I was okay. I was content with everything that I got from my family, which was a good thing. But unfortunately, when I was in, I think grade 5, my parents separated, they divorced, which really affected my life. It was a new chapter opened in my life. And also, I may say, that's when I realized that there was more to life than what I thought. The picture that I had, and when reality came to me, it was totally different. Okay, on that, I would say divorce is not a good thing. That's one thing that I'm going also to share because I saw it affecting my life. Though, of course, there's always a reason for everything that we go through in our lives. I wasn't the only child, remember. My mother had given birth to 7 kids. But the way it affected me is totally different from the way it affected the other person. The reason why we are different. The reason why you are called Beauty, the reason why someone else is called Jay, someone else is called John, it makes us different in how we feel, how we react, how we take situations. So for me, it really affected me a lot. Like it really did, it got to me to a point that I was so embarrassed with my parents. Like, how could they divorce? And even at school, I lost my confidence. So my mother moved to, you know, for those that are from Zimbabwe, I grew up in an institute. My father was a lecturer. He was a principal of training officers. After they separated with my mother moved away from home. And my dad won the custody of the kids, probably because he was more financially stable than my mom that time. So my mother moved to Warren Park and she started to stay in, at first she even stayed in a one room. And back home, I used to have my own bedroom, which I didn't share with anyone. Because the gap between me and my elder brothers and my elder sisters, like the one that I come after, we've got a difference of 5 years. So life changed. It was really, there was a big difference. Like it really showed a very big difference in my life. So at school, I started having this carefree attitude, like to cover up for my background. I didn't want people to notice that it affected me. I think fast forward, my father stayed with us for a long time. He wasn't married and he later got married. There was nothing wrong that my stepmother did to us that I can say even up to now that she was a bad person. No, she treated us well. There was nothing wrong. But during the time that I was staying with my dad and my mother was staying at a different place, I had too much freedom, which led to my early marriage. So I went to a boarding school. Form 1 and 2, I was at Kwenda Mission. Something happened at that school. I ended up, I was called away from school. I was sent away from school because of the mischievous things that we were doing that time. Like we had a punishment, we were wearing clothes. It was not allowed to be wearing clothes because it was a mission school. So they ended up calling our parents. But when it was happening, I didn't know that I was affected by the separation of my parents. I just thought maybe I'm just being myself. That's who I am. So after, I went to learn at Parewa High School, where I did my ordinary level. But that time, I met my ex-husband, the father of my first child. We were still very young. Of course, he was mature, but I was young. I was only 17, I think. And he was 24, probably, 24, 25. So he was mature than me. I can't say he took advantage of me. We agreed whatever that we did. And you know, when we were growing up, you know, our parents used to tell us that no one wants to marry someone who is not a virgin. If you're not a virgin, this will come back to you, to us as your parents, especially my mother, whatever that you do. Only for that reason. If I tell you that's the reason why I got married at an early stage, because that guy had broken my virginity. And I would say, I don't want to embarrass my mother. I don't want my mother to feel like, when people will look at her, they will say she's a bad mother. And the good thing, yes, we got married, but it was child's play. We were young, and even my in-laws, they didn't even take us seriously because everything that we did, it was just so immature. And the marriage didn't last for reasons that I cannot disclose. Like I said, I don't want other people to be affected when telling my kids. Hello?
Sorry, I think it was the background sound. It's okay, you can continue.
Oh, okay. So it didn't work. I'll just, because this is going to be on YouTube, I cannot disclose because I'm not sure if probably my daughter will be okay with it or the father will be okay with it.
No, it's okay.
Whatever happened, but it failed. Yes. Then my mother, I think she was facing depression after a divorce of so many years in marriage. That was the only man that he had been married to, like for the ever since, from being a young lady to a woman to a mother. Like, I think it really got to her. And my mother was that kind of a person who didn't want to share her problems with my dad. She would cover for my father. No matter how much you try to confront her to say, please speak, what did he do to you? She kept on saying, he is your father and you have to respect him. Mm-hmm. I really learned a lot of things from my mother. And I actually got to realize that I learned a lot of things and also learned that you benefit a lot when you have a good heart. So even I would celebrate when my father brings kids from outside. I would celebrate. We now have new brothers. We now have new sisters. I have a new sister in the house. You know, I would celebrate. I didn't know that it was something that was painful for my mother, but she never showed it and she would just accept. So after my failed marriage, unfortunately, I lost my mother in 2005. Yes, that time, that's when life started. All this that has been happening was just a joke. Life started when I lost my mother. Like, you know, when your mother is alive, you think all is well and you always have a shoulder to cry on. You feel like even no one has got the right to abuse you. She's there to stand for you. She's always there to comfort you. But when I lost her, and mind you, I now have a daughter, and she was the one who was taking care of my daughter after that failed marriage. So it really affected me. At first, it affected me in a very negative way. I started dating a married man. Not that he lied to me. He actually told me the truth that I have a wife. But of course, men lie. They'll tell you, I don't love her, and we are having problems, blah 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 blah. But when I don't know whether I fell in love or I was vulnerable. I had lost my mother, and I felt like all my other family members, they were minding their own business. They were now with their families, happily married, minding their own business. And I felt like I was alone. And this feeling didn't start that time. I developed this feeling when my parents separated. Remember, I was still young. You are a grade 5 student. You are old enough to understand that there's a problem. But at the same time, you are young to accept it and be able to handle it. You are just trying to figure out things all by yourself. So I was that person who always, all the time, I'll just say, God, just give me wisdom to handle this because no one is understanding me. No, even if I try to explain, my other siblings will say, were you the only child who was affected by this? Then at some point I felt like maybe I'm the one to blame and others, they are okay. I'm the one who has a problem, which was a wrong thing also, because I was now preaching the wrong word to myself, which then gave me this negative attitude. So when I saw my child after losing my mother, I looked at my baby and I'm saying, she's just too innocent to go through what I went through. I have to be there for her. I have to be a good mother for her, which was my first motive to be a better person. Having my child was the first thing that made me change to be a better person. But remember, I have history. People, they've got a picture of a Fadzai. Imagine, well, let me say you something. The problem which most people face is the people that surround them. when people say negative things about you, you end up acting negative to prove them that whatever they are saying, I don't care. You have this wrong attitude just to say, okay, let me fulfill whatever you think negative about me. But then I started to value what people say and what will my daughter say about me. I then changed my mindset. After I lost my mother, everything, my mindset slowly started to change. Of course, it's not something that will happen overnight. That time already I was drinking. Like there was a time I would take alcohol like every day. Inside my fridge, there will always be alcohol with me. For me, it was very normal. It was a stress relieving thing. So when I dated this married man, yeah, at some point, yes, I really fell in love with a married man, which was not a good thing. But when my mother was about to die, like she sat me down, had time to talk to me. She told me all the good things as a single mother, what I'm supposed to do and what I'm not supposed to do. She told me, you see the way you love your child. That's the same way I love you. And I want the best for you. Because you look at your child, you want the best for her. That's the feeling all mothers have. So I want you to do the best for your child. I want you to be the best mother for your child. I know the whole world may see you as a bad person, but I see the best in you. As my own child, I don't see anything negative that people say. When I look at you, I see myself blessed. So with the love that I had for my mother, it kept on coming to my mind. No, I need to do my best. I need to make her happy. As much as I no longer see her, wherever she is, she has to look at me and smile. I decided to go back to school. Mind you, when I got married, I could not even write my ordinary level. And I eloped. Then later they paid lobola and it didn't last long. I had to go back to school because now I have a child. I'm now taking myself to school by myself. And this married man, I don't know how it happened. He did not force me. He did not even persuade me. It's a decision that I made for myself. I looked at my child and I said, you know what? My child needs a brother or a sister. I need to have another child. That was my own decision. No one told me to have a child. Even my family members, when they saw me pregnant, I know some of them, it didn't do well with them. But now I was thinking, this is my life. And I had realized that in life, only a few people, even your family members, only a few will be there to help you. Once you are grown up, anyone who is not your mother, not your father, they hardly come to help you in life. So I just told myself, I need to do this for my daughter. She needs to have a brother or a sister. And I don't know where I got this negative attitude of thinking maybe marriage has failed. So I had my second child. I loved my kids. They changed me. I love them. If I say I loved, it's like in the past, but I love my children. God blessed me with another child, and he was a boy. And I said, God, I thank you. I now had my daughter and my son. And I told myself, I remember when I started to do like self-salvation, like to change myself. I wanted to stop being alcoholic. There was at some point I even smoked ganja. There's nothing that you name it. I did it all, but it's something that I wasn't proud of. But I thank God, as much as I did all that, I respected my body. And that has kept me, that has been my secret. As much as I was dating a married man, he was the only man that I was dating. So I said, if I have discipline to be able to take care of myself in this area, I can still take care of myself even regarding my character, as far as my character is concerned. So for the sake of my kids, I said, no, I need to, my kids need to grow in church. I need to show them the word of God. I need to show them light. I need to show them God. And if I don't do this, maybe I'll never be with them. This is what my mother gave me, and I need to pass it on to my kids as well. So we started going to church. That time, mind you, this married man that I was dating, he had money. Like, he owned a fleet of, we call it combis. I don't know. Which name do we use here? Public transport. Yes.
Yeah. Here, some of them, they call it car lifts, those minibuses.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Even had a bus. Like, he had money. Not that I can say, or probably he was rich, no, but we were okay. We were okay to a point that at some point he even bought me a house. And, you know, you'll be young, you feel like everything is just flowing. But when I started going to church, I made this close relationship with my pastors. They loved me because at some point I would even drive my district pastor to Amphik. My church, there's where ladies go and pray every Tuesday. It's only women. I would go there, pray. But every time I prayed, like inside of me, I felt guilty. What kind of a woman am I? I'm making another woman cry. I'm making another woman cry. Sorry. So I would say, God, just create in me a clean heart. I want to be better than this. I think I'm better than this. I can do better than this. But then, you know, there's this at the back of your mind, you're saying, Fadzai, do you really want to let go of this house? Do you really want to let go of this car? You are driving a Mercedes Benz, for crying out loud. But, you know, something inside of me is telling me this is all wrong, you know? And I was fighting the feeling, but at the same time, I know what I'm doing is wrong. Then one day, I just made a decision. I went to visit my brother with my children. I went to Botswana. My sister-in-law, she sat me down and she said, Tete Fadzai, you deserve better than this kind of life that you are living. I wish you could just go back to school. You are still young. You are not even 30 and you can still make it. Just make up your mind and let go of this, because look, another woman is crying because of you. And I just said, okay, fine. And I was exhausted. I was so exhausted, and the guilty conscience kept on eating me. You know, at some point I never thought I would gain weight. You know, I was so small, as much as I had money, but after giving birth to 2 kids, I was still very tiny. You know, usually when you give birth, you gain a little bit of weight. But because of the stress that I was going through, the guilty conscience that was in me, I just didn't like it. I made that bold decision. I had to let go. At first, it's maybe, this one will come back. But honestly speaking, I'm grateful. God has been with me since day one. God has always been faithful to me. It wasn't easy. Imagine I now have 2 kids with 2 different men, and I'm not learned. I don't have anything. I'm just taking a risk of saying I will do it. I just have to move on, let go of my past, and start a new chapter. I went back to school. It was even difficult to learn. You know, you imagine having your ordinary level, already you have 2 kids. They also want to go to school. You have to provide for their fees. You also want your fees, and you for your own for your kids' upkeep, everything. It was very difficult financially, but I just said, God, you'll be my strength. I just have to. So after that, how I came to Dubai. As a single mother, there is everything. I mean, I did everything. I did every business you may think of. In Zimbabwe, people hustle. I did tobacco. I was a tobacco buyer. At some point, I even had a grower's name in my name, saying I'm owning a farm. I even owned a shop in town. I was a hustler. I had to hustle, you know. I just said, God, you need to give me the strength so that I can take good care of my kids. I want them to live the best life they deserve. I worked extra hard, not only hard, but extra hard. So
excuse
then
me,
the challenges that I felt.
I think we are left with only 5 minutes. So I think we need to fast track a little bit.
Okay, it's fine. Okay, you should have reminded me 10 minutes earlier. Anyway, it's fine. So by the God's grace, okay, I then moved to South Africa. I stayed in South Africa not for long. Then I had a privilege. I didn't even plan of coming to Dubai, but it was just by the grace of God. Someone like invited me, and it came like someone who wanted to get married to me, of which I agreed to that relationship. I knew the person before for about 8 years. We had done some business together before he had moved to Dubai. But hey, the relationship was just, and that's how I came to Dubai. When I came 10 days after I moved into Dubai, I got a job. Then as I was doing my research here in Dubai of what to do with which is more comfortable, I've worked so hard. I didn't want a work that is so straining. So I decided to venture into teaching field. So I did my pre and primary diploma here in Dubai, which I recently finished. That's my story.
Congratulations for finishing up your course. That's really great. And thank you so much for sharing your story with us. It was an interesting story. It actually is an interesting story. And I'm sure we have learned 1 or 2 things from it. As usual, guys, if you have anything to say, if you want to say something, please go ahead. This is the time. JJ, I can see you're ready. I can see you're ready. JJ, go ahead.
You know, the most amazing thing is I've had her story, but she was always talking about God, you know? And the Bible says, blessed are those who put their trust in God. So I felt very happy. I've felt there is a God who can lift you from zero to somewhere. And I believe we are all blessed. So that is my.
Thank you so much, JJ. Thank you so much. That's really true. That's really true. If there's anybody else, guys, please feel free to say something.
Maybe I can just add on to something while they're thinking of what to say. Yeah, you know, my story, I always tell people that I'll make it a movie because I try to summarize a lot, but what has kept me strong is having positive people around you. And also in every situation, trust God. People will change. People will change. People act according.
Yes, that's true.
It depends with their mood. It depends with probably what they are benefiting from you.
Yeah.
But God remains God.
Yes. Thank you so much, Sister Fadzai. We have a hand. Rumbi wants to say something.
Hi, Fadzai. I don't have much to say, but I was just inspired by your story. You know, it takes so much for someone to open up like that. And you have showed us that no matter what, the sky is not even the limit. Where you came from and what you've accomplished, wow, bravo.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rumbi. Do we
Thank
have
you.
anybody who wants to say something, guys? Come on. All right, I think that was it for today. And Sister Fadzai, I don't know how to thank you, but I really want to thank you so much. I really want to thank you so much. It was really nice to have you here on this platform, and I'm sure a lot of people have learned a lot. Sorry, I think we have got a hand. Is this Chichi? Chieza, do you want to say something?
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Chieza.
Sorry, my video is off. I'm having a little trouble with the internet. So yeah, Fadzai, hi. Thank you so much for your story. Really amazing that you shared it. I really learned something. I was actually talking to my sister about it. I said, you know, these sessions are really good. A lot of women could learn a lot from this story. Honestly, your experiences, it really showed me that even if you go through a lot of stuff in life, you can still come out at the top if you choose to do so. So irregardless of a lot of things, a lot of challenges, a lot of mistakes, you can still accomplish something in your life. So thank you so much for sharing your experiences. And I'm inspired also to study. You did manage to study something and completed it. I've been struggling to study something. It's been a while and I'm like, my brain is so rusty. I don't think I can do it. But, you know, after hearing the story, I think I'm kind of inspired. So thank you so much for that.
Welcome.
Thank you so much, Chichi. Thank you, guys. We are left with less than a minute. And thank you so much for joining. We are going to have another session next week again on Friday. Same time, 7 p.m. Dubai time. So if you want to be part of the, if you want to be the speaker, please don't hesitate. Just talk to me. You can be the speaker. Anybody who wants to share the story will really be grateful. We'll be honored to have any of you here, guys. And please don't forget to go and like our YouTube channel. Please subscribe and like.